What is going on, guys? Welcome to Inkednba episode 1. I'm super grateful that you guys supported the launch with the trailer. And for episode 1, we went out and we talked to Willie Cauley-Stein, one of the most tatted guys in the league. He has a bunch of cool and funny stories to tell. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Let's get it. When we started this up and had like the whole idea of like having a podcast and bringing like the tattoo culture and stuff into the podcast world, you were like one of the first dudes on the list because not even just from a tattoo standpoint, I feel like you're one of the more artistic guys in the league too when it comes to the way you look at your ink and just the way you look at just life in general.
Sure.
So I want to start like from the beginning. You came into the league, or not even. Let's start in college. When you were in high school, you were tatted up in high school, right?
Yeah, I think I started my sophomore year. I had got one on my middle, or what do you call bicep.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my first one was on my bicep, and then throughout like my sophomore year to senior year of high school, then I just started adding. I probably had 6 tattoos by the end of my senior year. Starting to fill up like my shoulders, both my biceps, my chest. I had got some stuff on my chest, but they were just all over the place. You know what I mean? Like they weren't like creatively put together like you see now. Like the young dudes now, man, their ink is so tough to me. Like the way they're just putting it together, it just looks so nice. And that's where I wish I would have gotten to when I was younger. Is like really coming up with themes of the things that I wanted to get and then like creating a whole theme that fits what I was going for. You know what I mean? Like Some of my stuff is obviously like my roadmap to my life. So it's like I wish I would have figured out at a young age of how to make them like cohesively come together as a collective unit instead of I did it, but like I didn't do it how I could see it, people doing it now, which is impressive to me.
Well, no, for sure. And we see like you bringing that up, the tattoo culture like in the NBA has changed crazy since you came in 2015 to now. Like guys coming in, like you're saying, with the quality of work that they're coming in with is insane. You see like rookies coming in, like you're saying that he has and some guys have full arm sleeves, full leg sleeves, that it's like the quality of work they're getting is insane compared to what we saw 5-6 years ago.
Absolutely. I mean, like you can definitely tell like dudes now is like really taking it to the next level with the artists they're using. Like, bro, my first tattoos came out of a damn kitchen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was good. Like my first tattoo artist, he was good. He was solid, man. Like, but he had gotten an accident. So, which is so crazy about how he even this is crazy. So he was right-handed, and he got in an accident and crushed his hand, and so he had to move all his shit to his left hand. And
Damn.
Yeah, bro, it was crazy. And he still ended up being like a really, really damn good tattoo artist by having to switch. So I mean, like, he was probably in his 20s when he crushed his hand. So you go your whole life of being a right-handed and have to switch everything to your left hand and still not have like your right hand because it was like, dysfunctional. So like he had to use like the back of his hand to stretch out your skin. And like, there's just ways that he had to like become a really good tattoo artist with one hand. And it was actually impressive when I look back at it now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's crazy. So you that guy, you got tatted by him right and left hand, or you just got his left hand?
I just got his left hand. I met him. It was one of my aunt's friends. I met him when I was 15. But like, yeah, but by the time then he already changed all the stuff to his left hand and continued to still craft with his left hand and stuff.
That's wild. That's super cool that he like continued to do it and didn't just kind of stop doing his thing.
Right. I mean, honestly, he probably didn't even become like the tattoo artist he was until his hand got crushed, which is wild.
Yeah, that's insane. So I want to talk about face ink and what we're seeing, because every time there's anything that happens, face tattoos in the NBA, anything I post on the page that's face tattoos, everyone's always like, yo, Willie is the OG. You gotta give credit to Willie. Willie came in, stuff like that, because we see guys like now, Jordan Clarkson the other day, I don't know if you saw it yet, but he went and he got a piece on the side of his face.
Oh, yeah.
And then guys in the league, you're seeing like Kevin Porter Jr. has something, and Brandon Jennings just went out and got something too. But so when did you decide to go to the face? Because obviously the face is an extreme place to get a tattoo. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like the next level of spots when you start getting inked up. And when did you decide to go to the face, and what are the meanings behind the face tattoos you have?
So I decided to hit my face. Just say really my rookie year. I think I did my sideburns. That was the first little like test run, and I got like one of my young homies in high school. When I was a senior, we played football together and stuff, and he was a sophomore. He had died on a Xan overdose. And so that was like my first thing. I'm like, man, I want people, when people see me, I want them to see him too. So, you know, that's what I got, like RIP B sets on like RIP on one side, B sets on the other. Like that was like my first little thing. Like, damn, like I want people to ask me about that. I want to have to tell people about that. So like that was the whole thing with even starting on my face. So when I got the PPP next, and that's philosophical power and peace. And I have me and my cousin has started a record label, and PPP was like our first little stamp. It's like, man, this is the message that we want to put out to people, and like this is our whole philosophy of life. And so I was like, fuck it, man, I'm getting it tatted on my face. Like people are gonna have to see this. People are gonna have to ask me about this when I'm in interviews and like just stuff like that. So then I got that, and then I had took a trip to the Philippines my third year in the league. Well, right before my third year, I think that summer going into my third year, I had took a trip to the Philippines, and that thing, it was so life-changing, bro. Like that whole experience of like driving in this country, and then like everywhere you go, there was basketball, like people playing in the fucking dirt on the side of the road when you're going through this little ass village, and like you just see it. Like basketball was such a like, it was heart. It was like, that was it. It was heart. It was like like that was that's their lifestyle over there is basketball, bro. They love basketball so much, and their thing was like puso. That's what they used to say. Like in all the breakdowns, they like puso, and that means heart in Filipino. And so I was like, damn, I'm gonna get that tattoo on my face. And they asked me what was like something that I had came out with by the end of my trip there, because it was like I went there for a junior NBA camp. And I was like, man, Puso, like that's just gonna stick with me for the rest of my life. Like I'm for real dead ass gonna get that tattoo on my face when I get back to the States. And that's what I ended up doing. I got Puso, and then I got Shift, which is our record label. And Shift is like became, you know, that's like our slogan, Shift Everything. Is our production company. Shift Records is our record label. Like, and it just means change. At the end of the day, that's all the shift means is change. And like changing habits, change your life, change your lifestyle, and like really just help empowering people along the way.
I like that. I like how you're saying you picked the most important part of your body to then show the messages that you want people to know the most. So when you're talking about then the record label, and I know that you do art too, like I've seen a bunch of your paintings online and stuff, and like it's super dope. So you have a lot of stuff that you're doing outside of just basketball. And I feel like a lot of times people don't understand that like basketball players, NBA guys have lives outside of basketball. I feel like there's such like a stigma where it's like, oh, you're not posting yourself working out, you're not working kind of thing. I like for you, when you do things like that, is that like your like escape from basketball? Or those like when did you sort of get into starting to look to do things like to advance your career, whether it's production, art, or whatever else you're getting into?
But I honestly truly believe that's what fuels my basketball, is like the shit that I do outside of basketball is like what fuels me to keep on being the greatest I can in basketball and my profession and like my workspace. Like all the other stuff are hobbies, man. And this is like, that's where people get it twisted, is like, you know, they think that you do your hobbies, but they don't realize all the stuff that you're putting in on the daily for your true job and like the behind the scenes of your real work. Like, and those, the art and the photography and stuff like that, like that's all just a hobby that eventually one day is going to end up being a business. You know what I mean? And that's how we started, is like, you know, a lot of people get it twisted on like the business aspect of life is like, you want to create a business so you can make a lot of money and blah, blah, blah. And that's how like people think about it. It's like, for us, it's like, okay, well, we want to make our hobbies our business. We want to make the stuff that we do for fun end up being, our job in the long run. So like that's the kind of inverted way like we think about it. It's like, yeah, on the outside it looks like that's a job for us, but it's like, man, like creativity runs so deep in my squad that like give us an hour and we can come up with something, that could really change the world. Like for instance, I just came out with a clothing line last year and I was having a trouble like finding a job. Like I don't know how, but people were just not trying to like get me. And Dallas was like one of the like last teams that really was like, you know what, we like him, we like what he's bringing. Let's take him. And at that point, like I remember being on the phone with my agent and everything like that, and I was like, oh, like how are these teams saying I don't fit? Like I'm literally the most fitting person that can just squeeze into a squad. Like I don't have off the court issues. I don't have mental issues. Like I love being around people. I love having good vibes. So like in the workspace, man, I'm shit. Like who else won the workspace? Like I don't know. So to me, it was just like it was a trip. Like I couldn't believe these teams were saying I don't fit on their squad because I could like my skill runs so deep. Like what do you mean I could do anything on the floor? So what do you mean I don't fit? And like so it hit me. I'm like, yo, that's my new brand. Don't fit. So like for the last year, we've been working on this don't fit concept, and we got like, we got hats, we got toboggans, and then we're just putting in our first order of like real streetwear, cozy wear. So I'm excited about this year. Like this year's going to be big time for it. But I kind of just took the homage of my home like state. Like I'm using sunflowers and I'm using like a lot of the stuff that my homie Rex that had passed away that we started this whole shift brand with. I'm using a lot of the stuff that he kind of instilled in us before he passed away, which is like his whole thing was his name was Rex 2X's. So literally everything we use has 2X's in it now. Like that's kind of our sign off. So that's above the eye. You know what I mean? I got that up there.
Yeah.
Where's that? Yeah, right there.
On that side, yeah.
And that's the 2X's. And that was the last face tat that I had was when he passed away. I had to get the 2X's above my eye. But so that kind of inspired me into a whole business adventure of people saying I don't fit on their team. It was like, well, shit, give me an hour. And next thing we know, we had a whole brand concept and the wheels are just turning now. So I'm excited to get some of that product back.
No, yeah, it sounds super dope. And like you said, just coming from like, you're a fit guy. You're a guy that you run the floor. You're an energy guy. So like you said, finding yourself sitting there and kind of questioning things, having that like kind of team, like that creative team to go off and be able to do something like that and kind of get your brain off things, I think is super important too at times to have like those other things going on.
Definitely. I mean, it definitely fuels it, man. Like art, I feel like art and basketball to me are like if I have a bad week practice or games and I go and put 8 hours into a painting, bro, I don't feel that bad week no more. I don't feel that bad, game or whatever. Like that shit was lost in that painting. And that's I think that's just so tough with the painting aspect for me. Is like I could just pour all that negative energy into a painting and turn it into something beautiful.
That's fire. That's really cool. I like that a lot. Have you ever, so with your artistic ability, with painting and like anything physical like that, have you ever thought about like getting into tattoos or ever tattooing anyone? Or have you tattooed anyone?
I tattooed myself in college once. It was interesting. I mean, I could do it, honestly. It would be cool. I mean, a lot of it's just tracing an outline anyways, and then, figuring out your shading methods. So, I mean, I could definitely get it done. It's just, I need to really like, what do they say? What is that? Apprentice? I need to be an apprentice. I need to really like be with a tattoo artist and like learn their methods of how they, treat skin and stuff like that. Cause that's the trip, man. I was working on these little like fake skin things and it was just not realistic to like real skin. So
yeah.
Finding somebody that you can just tattoo and practice on is the hardest thing, I feel like.
Yeah, no, well, especially when you're first starting off too, you got to find the guy to trust you and put the trust in you to let you just do your thing. So is there any tattoos since you were one of the guys, when was the last time you got a tattoo? What's the most recent tattoo you have?
Pretty sure it was my 2 X's on my eye.
Okay. So then from college and from like your rookie season and early on in your career, you've definitely like slowed down in terms of like going and getting ink. Is that mainly because of like you filled up super early on and do you look back and wish like you could have held more space or like do all your pieces? Like how do you feel about getting tatted so early? Do you feel like you wish you could have waited a little more?
I wish I would have waited till I left college to really like start my sleeves and stuff. Only because I feel like along the way I met so many like dope tattoo artists. And I had already filled up spaces that like I feel like they could have done crazy on. And that's not saying that like the tattoo artists that I had in college wasn't good. Like they were all, all of them were good. They were just my mindset of how I wanted to piece them wasn't there yet. So when I see guys coming in now and their sleeves are like cohesive and they're not just, 3 different pieces molded together, like they actually like thought about how they wanted their pieces to come out on their body, was like, that's what I wish I would have done. And that's why it slowed down, because like I still got my legs and my like half my torso, my back. So like, and then my arms, I still got spots that I need filling in to like make my sleeves more cohesive. And so like, I still have a lot of space, but the way I did my tattoos, it looks like I'm full. And that's why I did it like that. But now it's just like, I've had time to really like think about what I want to like do with my legs and like how I want to piece my legs out, since, now I kind of got that chance to really make like some dope leg sleeves. I only have like enough tattoos to make it look like I have like a lot of tattoos on my legs, but I only have like 5 or 6 tattoos on my legs. And they're not full. They're not like
just like individual pieces.
Yeah. So I haven't even begun to like sleeve them out yet, which is that's why honestly I haven't got tattoos lately. It's just I want to find the right tattoo artist. And my pain tolerance is not there anymore. Like that's what I realized. Really? Like on my last tattoos, like at the last big, I got a Jimi Hendrix piece on my leg, and it says like legends never die, they're just reborn. And that was my last like big piece. Like I'm like, yo, I don't know if I have the pain tolerance for these big pieces anymore. And since I've started that mental break, now I'm like, I don't want to get tattooed anymore.
That's crazy. That's like you're
and find that pain tolerance again.
No, that's crazy though. From like an outside standpoint, like looking in, when I see like you see your tattoos and whatnot, that doesn't even cross my mind. Like pain tolerance, like thought when getting tattoos. So that's wild. Is there any guys like when you're mentioning like the guys coming into the league with the pieces or anything? Is there anyone you have in mind? Like any guys pieces that you really like look at and you're like, shit, those are really fucking cool? Or is it just like overall like the class is coming in?
I would say overall, but like, guys off the top of my head, it's like RJ Hampton, the Ball brothers, literally all 3 of them literally went crazy. And like, they got some of the dopest tattoos, I think, in the league, man. Just like how they piece it together, like especially, what's the middle one? Jello,
yeah.
Yeah, like he went crazy. Like I was impressed by his. Lonzo's was tough. Like I mean, they're tough, man. I like all 3 of their work. I mean, even like Kevin Porter, like he's got some dope work. What we was just talking about. He just went crazy too in the last like 2 years.
Clarkson,
yeah, Clarkson's tough. I've been watching his process, so like he just went crazy. Like I feel like how he went in the last 2 years is how I went in my 3 years of college. Like I was just I had a good pain tolerance too. Like the needle didn't hurt me at all. Like just ink me up. I ain't cared. Like ink my whole body. And then about 2 years ago, man, I tried to do that leg and I didn't even want to finish it. I was
That's
like, yo,
wild.
this is OD. Like,
Yeah.
I ain't liking this no more.
So Clarkson, back on Clarkson for a second. Clarkson just got the face tat. Do you think that as like the league keeps, or not even the league, just as the world keeps on like accepting? Because I feel like, you look back 10 years ago, like tattoos were looked at as so differently than they are now, and I feel like it
Oh
keeps
yeah,
on
super
progressing.
taboo. Super taboo. I mean, even when I
Yeah.
was coming into the league, like I remember getting a lot of flack for having tattoos. And when I first got the face tattoos, it's like, I mean, I got a bunch of flack from like the Kings organization. Like, I just felt like, they start looking at me different, and like people just look at you different when you got face tattoos, and they don't try to see who you are. They just see that first image of you and put their perception on you. And unfortunately, that's the problem with the tattoo game, is in the past, at least. Now, all these young dudes are coming in with all these tattoos. They, the upper managements of these teams can't really say much anymore, because they're like, well, this is kind of the jig. You know what I mean? This is what it's coming down to for our league. Is like people are putting, their life's art on top of them, other bodies, and like they got to deal with it. You know what I mean? I think that's the dopest part about it now. Is like, now even you guys doing what you guys are doing for us by creating a platform for us. You know what I mean? That's big time for us too. So just how all that's came together in the last few years has been pretty amazing to watch.
For sure. And so wait, so I want to just shoot back quick. If the Kings, so when you were saying with the face tattoo in the Kings organization, you had someone like straight up come to you and say something about it? Or was it like kind of just like just being shady, like after it happened?
Just shady. Yeah, just shady. After it happened, just shady. And then like just some of the things that they would say, just kind of like joking of what I put on, like, how you going to joke about what I put on my body? Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't pertain to you. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't, like, I don't know. So it was just weird to me. Like, y'all have known me for all this time and seen me work and seen, but this, like, these face tattoos did something to you. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, it's just weird. Some of the things that they would say, just like some just slick comments of, why would you do that? Like, what are you thinking? Or what's wrong with you? And it's like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, I can't take this body with me when we leave. I can't take none of this with me when you leave. Like, what does it even matter what's on my body if my mind and my soul and my heart is pure? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
What's on my body? Like, ain't nothing on my body is offensive to nobody. Like, I think that's a whole nother thing. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and it's not, from their perspective too, it's not affecting the way you play at all either. So it's like, who cares?
Yeah, what's the point? What's the point of even talking about it? What's the point of making it a big deal when it's not?
So, but then, so that's what I'm saying. Do you think back to like the original question, do you think that the league now, we're going to see a lot more guys like touch the face or go to the neck, the hands, like more of the like restricted areas in the past?
I think it'll just depend on the player, the caliber of player, what they're trying to do in life. Obviously I'm an artist, man. So like after hoops, I'm gonna be an artist still. So like it doesn't really affect me. I'm not trying to go get an office job somewhere. Like I'm not. That's not my lifestyle. So if that was somebody else's lifestyle, if they wanted to go work in the front office somewhere, like they're probably not going to get a hand tattoo. They're probably not going to get a neck tattoo. They're probably not going to get a face tattoo. Like, but for me, man, that's part of my lifestyle, and that's how I'm rocking. So I feel like you'll see Jordan Clarkson, for example, start touching the face, the neck, the hands. Like he's not trying to, you know what I'm saying? He's good for like he's not trying to get an office job somewhere. Like,
well, yeah, exactly. He's set for life. He has that generational wealth coming in already. So he's ready to go crazy.
Absolutely. And I think that's where it comes down to. And I think that's where people were like looking at me like, bro, what are you doing? Like, you haven't got the bag yet. Like, you can't tat your face up like that. You can't touch your body up like that. And I'm like, when I was younger, I'm like, bro, like, y'all know me. Like, why does that matter? What does that face tattoo matter about my character? Like, it doesn't mean anything towards my character. So it's like, if that's what we're doing, if that face tattoo or that hand tattoo is hindering me from getting a bigger contract, well, then that's something that we need to look at on some stereotyping. So, you know what I mean? Like that's something that's some black and white stuff. That's an issue. That's a prejudice thing right there that you're looking at, because you're not looking at my character. You're just looking at my face tat. Like, oh, well, we don't want him on our front page of our pamphlet of the, you know what I mean? What? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like that stuff shouldn't even matter. That shouldn't even be a thing. Like, but it is, unfortunately. It is. The league is taking these like precautions of equality, but like we're still doing like stuff like that on judging somebody by their tattoos and stuff like that. Like that's not equality. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, like we were saying, we do see it sort of changing in the world, and I see that too. Like with me on the outside, like I'm like you were saying, I'm looking to do these different type of jobs. For me, I'm not looking to sit in an office and go for that 9 to 5 kind of thing. So like I'm someone that, like you were saying, I'm like okay with myself getting tatted. But unfortunately, there is people probably that do want to get the tattoos. It could even be rookies in the league and just that aren't like secure yet in their decision making, or are secure yet in the money they're making, where they go out and get that art on themselves. And I mean, in the end, that's what tattoos are, is just self-expression and art on the body, and shouldn't be looked at in any other way.
Literally. That's all it is, man. It's a journey, man. It's a timeline. It's a map. And that's how I look at it. And so it's sad. It's sad, unfortunately, when we got to deal with that type of stuff. Like you can't do stuff in the moment. You got to think about, what this company or organization is going to look at me like, and maybe not give me a job because that guy doesn't have a tattoo on his face, but I do. And they want that look in their squad. Like that's the type of stuff that I think that people tried to protect me from when I was younger. And it was like, bro, I know who I am. I am who I am. And that's what it is. And that's what I'm going with. That's what I'm rocking with. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. You know what I mean? Like if they're saying, hey man, we would have gave you $100 million if you didn't get that face tat, I would have still got that damn face tat.
No, exactly. Be you. And they got to accept that. And that's it. So did you have any inspirations like in the basketball? Like I know it's always like AI. Like when I talk to people, it's like, yo, AI was that guy. Like he had the tattoos, the cornrows. Like I wanted to be like him. Was there like some influence with you growing up, like watching sports or like rappers when it comes to tattoos?
Honestly, my mom, my aunts had tattoos. So like, I just wanted to be like them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I wasn't in the culture, bro. Where I grew up from, dude, like we didn't even see AI. We didn't even watch pro. We didn't watch basketball like that. So like I didn't really see them dudes until I was already, grown up.
Mm-hmm.
High school type stuff is when I really started paying attention to the Iversons and like just Kobe and like stuff like that. I was, like I said, I was raised in 800 town people, you know what I mean? Like we didn't have that type of stuff. And so like I was looking at, bikers and like people like that had tattoos. Like that was my inspiration, was Harley Davidson dudes. Like that was it.
Like the traditional kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to get tattoos. My mom already had like 11 tattoos before I got my one. So it was like, shit, I'm trying to be like, yeah, I'm trying to get inked up like that. Yeah,
that's super dope. So I want to get to two of my favorite pieces that you have is the hand tats you have. You have the Bugs Bunny and the Daffy Duck, right?
Yeah.
So is there like any story behind that, or that was just kind of like you just liked the way it looked, so you went for it?
Now, so I have, when I was, obviously everybody probably in my era loved fucking Toon Squad and Bugs Bunny and just that whole realm of cartoons. So those are my favorite cartoons growing up, was Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. And like as I got older, I started really paying attention. Like Daffy Duck was Bugs Bunny's biggest hater.
Yeah.
And so like the way I have it on my hands is really the Daffy Duck is a solo head. You know what I mean? Like it's his head, the money sign, and then the Bugs Bunny is like holding a pistol. And so like for me, that's like silence the haters. And that's how I came up with in my head, was like silence the haters and get your money. And that's what it was like You got the Daffy Duck with the money sign in his eyes after he took his head.
I like that a lot. That's dope. That's a good like swing on things too, on like you taking your own perspective on the cartoon itself. So do you think that you're like when you see dudes in the NBA getting tattoos or like just in general, do you ever think to yourself like you might have been one of the guys to start the wave? Like how people look at Allen Iverson, how like this next generation coming up, where it might be like, yo, like Willie started the wave of, let's say, whether it's the face tats, the neck tat. Like, do you ever see yourself as like kind of like an art like icon when it comes to tattoos in the NBA?
Oh, definitely. I mean, well, at least one of them. You know what I mean? Like at least one of them to stay true to who I am, like 10 toes down. Like I ain't changing for nobody. So like, I feel like some young dude got to give me some respect for that aspect of coming in early with my tattoos and repping who I am, how I am, and I ain't gonna change for nobody. But it's funny though. The way this stuff works is funny. I probably wouldn't get any credit. But I'm glad that you saying, like, if you saying it, then it's valid.
No, for sure. And like I said, when we were doing like the list of guys who wanted to get on here, you were like top list because it was like when I think of the basketball and I think of tattoos, I think of JR, at least in like my era coming up. I'm 22, so I wasn't really watching AI, but I was watching JR. I was watching guys even like Wilson Chandler is a super underrated guy too. I think
Wilson
super
Chandler
talented.
got some of the coldest. I mean, that's how Wilson Chandler was who inspired me to get my first face tat.
Yeah,
I seen his and I was like, damn, if Wilson's gonna do it, I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Wilson can do it, I could do it. And that's what really gave me my first inspiration on getting my first face tattoo was through Ill Will. And his tattoo game is insane. I love looking at his artwork.
Are you like him and are you in Will Boys? Were you guys ever on the same team?
No, so we had the same agency. And so now we have the same financial company. So they were always just in the cahoots with him, like always talking about, hey man, this is what we did with his financial stuff. Like, this is what we can do for you. And so like, that's how I really got into his camp. Really. So we got the same financial people. So, I mean, they're always talking about what he's doing and in ways I could mirror what he's doing. Yeah.
Well, he's super into art too, Will. I feel like he's one of those guys in the NBA, one of those like rare guys that you see that's not like all balls in one basket kind of thing. Like he has a bunch of different things that he does. All right. So a couple like last things to talk about before we wrap up. With everything going on right now and the NFT market like going crazy, have you, as a guy that's like big into like art and stuff like that, have you looked at any of that or gotten yourself into the NFT market?
I've looked into it, of course, but I'm not really like a digital worker, so like that's a foreign little spot for me. And I have a friend that's like really nice at the digital work. So like I see him being able to maybe do it more than me because I just haven't, like, I'm traditional with like, bro, give me some paintbrushes and some paint or a pencil and an eraser and I'm gonna come up with some stuff. But like that digital artwork is a different realm. I think it's dope. Like the moving NFTs are crazy. The next step, I guess, for me is when people like, because I got people that come up to me and want to make NFTs and see if I could create NFTs and stuff like that. And it was just like, I need to be around somebody that's actually doing it so I could get a different outlook on what it is. Like for me, I'm still so traditional that I'm like, I don't even know where to start on that. I don't even know how to begin. So.
And do you, when you do your paintings and stuff, do you like do pieces for people? Like you do commissions, or is it sort of just like you're doing your own thing? And then if someone wants it, like how does that, how do you work out your pieces?
A lot of my paintings are like stuff that I wanted to do. And then I had a couple, this is actually messed up. I have this one painting, which is this dog, like this little dog looking into a mirror and sees like this big Rottweiler. And, I actually made that for one of my friend's dogs for Christmas. But then it came out so dope, I couldn't give it to him. I was like, I gotta keep it, bro. Like, this is one of the dopest things I've done in a while. So like, I had to keep it. I'll give you a print,
picture. Yeah.
Yeah, I give him a print though, but I gotta keep this original.
All right. So last few questions here is just like you could give me a range, but I'm curious because you're a guy, you have a ton of tattoos. If you had to throw a number, how much do you think you've blown on tattoos? How much have you spent on tattoos?
I got blessed. I'll tell you that. I got blessed in my time of getting tattoos. I probably only spent like $5,000, bro. Like,
Really?
yeah, but like I said, I got blessed when I was younger. Like I didn't have to spend too much money on the tattoos I was getting.
And then last question is, what was the like hardest spot when getting tattooed? Which one hurt the most for you?
I would say there's 3 places that hurt equivalently the worst. The back, it's real pinchy. I don't like the pinchy feeling. So like, I'd rather take the dull pain than like that real pinchy. So the back was real pinchy. The, like my tibia, like right on the front part of my leg, didn't like the way that felt. And obviously like my throat was pretty bad.
Yeah.
My throat was pretty agonizing.
And then
the side of my neck was smooth, but the throat, like right here on the Adam's apple, that was bad.
I wanted to quickly just touch on this. I had this written down because when I was looking at some stuff, back when you were in Kentucky, you had 2 fans, or at least 1 fan, come up and show you a tattoo of yourself on them. So something like that. Like
signed it, and she went and got that sign, got my signature tattooed on it too.
That's
She's
wild.
Tough for that. Yeah, that was.
And
that was,
I mean, like, that's got to feel like crazy seeing that, no?
Oh, it was tough, bro. When I was a young, like, even now when I see it, I'm still like, wow, like I can't believe that. But like, one of the guys that got him was like, you know, such a big fan. Like, yo, if you come back for your 3rd year, then I'm gonna get your face. Said, okay, well, I'm coming back, so I need to see that. I need to see that tattoo. And he for real got it. I was like, damn, he for real got it. And then when the shorty got it, that was tough, bro. Like, she pulled up to an autograph sign and was like, hey, can you sign my leg? And had a whole face on me, like on her leg. I was like, yo, hell yeah. Signed it up. She came back next autograph signing and was like, yo, I got your signature tattoo too. I was like, yo, you're going crazy.
Do you like follow up with her? Like, do you know who she is, or it was just like?
One of my friends that's like a good friends of my circle knows her. So when I posted it, like I did like a retweet or something, or like put on my story, and he was like, yo, I know her. And I like at the time that I met her, I hadn't even met him yet. So it was like, oh, crazy, full circle.
Yeah, that's wild. All right, man. I appreciate you coming on. Willie Cauley-Stein, one of the most tatted guys in the league, one of the most influential artistic dudes in the league. I appreciate you talking to us, telling us some of the stories behind your ink. And good luck. Good luck this season. And I hope your clothing brand does great. I hope you do great. I wish you nothing but the best.
Oh, man, I appreciate it.